recording. Okay, and we're going. So I think what we're doing right now is rolling for initiative. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? Move the mic so we're talking into it. There we go. Okay, so this was my round one game against Jon Phillips, and we're going to talk about how this went down.
Yeah.
So I win the dice roll for initiative.
I'm guessing you picked to go first.
I did pick to go
Yes.
first. And then we both rolled special cut for each other and got ones. We had a conversation before we rolled for special cut, and we both decided to roll 1d6 instead of 2.
You both get ones.
Yeah. And then
It's
we
kind
both
of
got
funny.
ones. I mean, having to put 12 cards on the bottom of your deck takes a long time. So what I remember from this hand is I had 1 power up, 2 blues, and no playable turn 1 or 2 plays,
So
which
that
was no
means why
good.
you mulliganed.
Yeah, so I had my level 2 in my hand, but I didn't have really anything else, and that didn't feel good enough.
Because Rogue, even if you can level pretty quickly, well, here's the thing. Rogue, you kind of need people to defend you early game because your stats are really, really bad at the early game.
Yeah. And all this guy wants to do is go face down and hide.
And Rogue needs to make attacks to level.
Mm-hmm. Do you see how the mic spikes every time Mama takes a step upstairs?
Yeah.
All right, so we have to stick with this one.
You can't mulligan twice.
No. Although if I remember right, I would have. I don't think I see solo
There can always be a
ever
first hand.
in this game, which is terrible. So I'm just explaining to John there. I'm going to stack my face down resources with a dice on top of them, which this video looks a little bit distorted because it's blown up because I only have a tiny version, but it is visible.
Because the one where the board sizes are equal it's not watchable. It was very, very choppy.
Yeah, we had some technical issues. Okay, so Rogue is coming down and powering up twice to get 2 experience, and that also gets me big enough to stun Adam Warlock.
And that makes him go face down.
So if I had the ability to do more here, I would have, but I couldn't. I only had the 2 power-ups in hand, so I got as much experience as I could.
Hey, it is better than just getting 1.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool to just straight up level there,
Yeah.
you know, but I didn't get that draw, unfortunately. And I think that will become relevant as this game plays out. If the video matches what I remember from this, my speed of leveling was a key component. Man, it looks like John froze there, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure you did.
He was just very still. So that looks like a cane.
Dust, maybe?
So this is guaranteed
Can
to
pick up
get
dust.
a lab, and the deck lists are public. So at first I'm doing it the right way, and then I start just flipping over clumps of cards. I don't, like in a tournament where you have closed deck lists, never do it that way. Even if you know what your result's going to be, you don't want to give your opponent any more information than you have to. But in this environment, John knows my whole list. There's a chance he has it pulled up in front of him while he's playing. Although I guess after this match, Stack said he doesn't want people doing that.
I mean, I feel like that is kind of like cheating when you know exactly what they might draw.
Yeah.
Like, you can look at it before, but you shouldn't look at it when you're playing. I
mean,
feel like.
To me, it's cheating if one player does it and the other player doesn't. If both players do it or both players don't, then I don't care either way because it's an even playing field. I care less about... Okay, so he recruits a Mantis here. This is good for him because he's trying to race for Dark Phoenix. That's really his win condition.
Yeah.
So I look at my hand here, but honestly, it's performative. Oh, no, yeah, because so I pulled the blue from Kane. I was going to say if I would have had any more, I would have used it turn 1, but let's see, we need to reveal, there we go, Rogue level 2. So that was a pretty quick level up for Rogue. If John hadn't declared that attack, I wouldn't have been able to use that blue, but it would have ended up in my row, so that would have been a little bit less pressure on my hand, but clearly I top decked another blue there. I believe my turn 1 face down card was Silver Surfer. I'm 99% sure that's right.
I mean, you aren't going to be able to play him for another, 8 turns, so why keep him in hand?
Yeah. Well, and you can't face down those power-ups, not early in the game. They're so crucial.
That's how you level. You want to get those +1s, you need to level,
so
or else your
I can't
stats
really
are
do
pretty
anything
trash.
here because Adam Warlock's not interacting with the game. But I do get Wyatt down, which is my optimal turn 3. Like, the whole thing that I wanted to do with this deck is draw a bunch of cards and have lots of playables for Wyatt, which I do. I have the full 8 power-ups with Rogue, a lot of low-cost characters. So I think it's Jon's turn here.
Did you go into your main phase?
There was nothing for me to attack. He doesn't have any guys on his board.
I forgot about that.
So I can't, even if I have power-ups, if I throw them now, Rogue doesn't get experience because she only gets experience while in melee
It has
combat.
to be in combat.
Yeah, so.
It kind of reminds me of Juggernaut's level where he has to do melee combats.
So
get
Jon
XP.
doesn't do anything. Now my Wyatt draws were a Cane and a Call. And I was like, oh my god, I don't want to put either one of these into my row. But I ended up putting the Cane because I wanted to be able to use the Call to power up Rogue.
To get Rogue to level and also just get her bigger in general.
Even though if Wyatt lives one more turn, I'd be able to recruit the Cane and get that extra blue, which would have been really good too. But I felt like the Call is more playable than the Cane. There's more instances where I can get that out of my hand before Jon can respond.
What Rogue wants to do is she wants to level. That's what she needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't level the level 1 up, then you're probably in trouble because Rogue's level 1 stats are pretty bad.
So the other thing I was trying to do here was recruit as many characters to the board as I could as quick as possible, because that's what forces Adam Warlock to turn face up. I felt like my path to victory was all about getting Adam Warlock face up as fast as possible.
So you can enter combat again.
So I get Herbie and Match, this is all part of my plan. I have these valuable back row guys. Now Cane, normally I put him up front because it just makes it harder for my opponent to get to my back row. But in this case, I wanted him in the back because I didn't want to let Jon attack him. For 2 reasons. I wanted to be able to force Jon into Rogue, but also if he can attack Cane, that's 2 recruit points off the board. That's that much harder for me to get him up to level 3.
Yeah. Plus, you wouldn't be able to play another Cane because I don't think you have one in hand. Plus, you had to row it because you can't use Wyatt to play him because you had to row Cane.
Now, if Wyatt lived one more turn, that might have been a little bit different, but he's not gonna. He's not gonna live one more turn.
Spoilers!
I know. What do you think happens to him? You've looked at Jon's list. What do you think he does?
He's gonna die.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
That's how all supporting characters get kicked off the board, is they die.
Their lives are short and violent.
Some of them aren't that violent.
So we have In-Betweener coming down here, and In-Betweener lets him recruit that gem for free. And then he gets Simon Trask. And when Simon Trask comes into play, he plays the Earth and just kills Wyatt. Boom.
Wow.
Which removes the Cane and the Call from the game.
Oof. That's
Then
bad.
he pays the blue to the Soul Gem and says Silver Surfer. Now at this point, I had my other Silver Surfer in my hand, and I was like, okay, well, I know what I'm going to put in my row next turn.
I mean, if you had a resource, it would have been better to play a resource then. But if you don't, yeah,
So
just
he
put Silver face
sends
down.
Trask into Rogue, and I pay a blue and get 2 experience. Now, I think he sends In-Betweener, and I think I had a power up here.
But you didn't use it.
Okay, well, I did use the power up there, though. I thought I didn't. I thought this was the turn where I missed and I could have powered up one more time. Maybe I didn't.
I mean, the game, you haven't leveled, so I mean, there's still a chance that there was another turn where you, because I'm pretty sure you said to me that you could have leveled, but instead you didn't, and you wouldn't level with that XP because, well, you didn't just now.
Yeah, but I feel like if I had it there, the way I remembered it, it was on the turn where I hit level 2. I could have powered up again, but I'm already. I might have to go back and watch this video again. Or it's possible I'm just not remembering it. So that's Jon doing the special cut after shuffling the gem. So the gem has immortal. So even though In-Betweener got clipped,
Yeah,
it shuffles back into the deck.
It can't enter the KO pile.
So I think we have what, 2, 4, 6. Is that? I can't tell who I recruited there. Can you?
I think that's Domino.
Is it turn 5?
I'm not sure, but it looks kind of like that art. I see green and I see a bit of the color on Domino's card with the gunshot. I'm pretty sure.
See,
You might need to watch this again.
I thought I played Boomerang, but that doesn't.
I'm not 100% sure.
6. So that'd get me up to 10. Yeah, because the turn he killed Wyatt, so this would be my turn 4. I don't think I can recruit Boomerang or Domino yet.
Yeah, Domino costs 5. Well, I don't know who that is.
It's funny. Built the deck and I cannot tell what that card is.
We might need to look at your deck list again and see what art that is.
So the In-Betweener doesn't really do a whole lot other than just like hang out.
What's the stats?
He's like 3.5, 4.5 or something. Or 2.5, 3.5. So I think he counts as being a 3/4, something like that.
But he has half stats. How is that?
Because he's in between. He costs 1.5. That's his whole thing. And his power is in between a turn. You can pay a blue and put him into play. So Jon plays She-Thing, which kind of sucks. She's big. So In-Betweener comes into Rogue here. And I'm pretty sure the thinking is let's get him face down so that way I don't have any good attacks on my turn. Like, if I had power-ups right now, I'd play him, I'd level. You know, I'm starting to think the one power-up that I was scolding myself for missing might be the one that I had in Wyatt's hand, and I never had a chance to use it.
I mean, that's possible.
So She-Thing and the In-Betweener both crash into Rogue. Neither one's big enough.
So they both just go face down.
But I also couldn't level that turn. And there's no way I was holding the power up there.
What was in your hand like right now?
So I get a face-up resource. I'm pretty sure that's San Francisco. And there's the Boomerang.
Yeah.
So that gets me, I'm pretty sure that gets me to 10 there. Or 15, rather. Yeah, so Adam Warlock is going to level up. Whoops. Not Rogue. Not yet.
You haven't leveled yet.
So this was the turn
never
that in my head, I get put in this tricky spot. So I don't have any level ups here. His Adam Warlock's up front, exposed.
But you can't hit him.
And I can't hit him. Now my Rogue is, I think, has 3 +1 counters on her at this point. So she's pretty big. She's big enough that She-Thing couldn't crack her.
But they're not big enough that she can hit.
I do have a board that is going to allow me to level up. So what I do is I throw the Boomerang that makes it so Adam Warlock can't hit me back. Oh, right now I had some confusion about what the Oh, wow, that's lame. I didn't realize that. I had some confusion about what Adam Warlock's stats were. And
13,
that was...
13.
I took my phone off of the Wi-Fi and put it onto cell network because the connection was getting so crummy.
Yeah, I was...
So I think you're right about that having been Domino.
Yeah. But on turn 4, I feel like... If that was turn 4, then you couldn't have played Domino.
It must have been turn 5. And this must be turn 6, and we just got off somewhere. So now, match comes up front. And what I'm going to do here is a team attack, which is going to allow Rogue to level, but I'm not quite big enough to crack Adam Warlock.
So would that put you face down?
No, because I threw the boomerang that made it so Adam Warlock can't strike back.
But if you team attack with Match and Rogue, that means that he gets the -1s.
Yep, so when he gets the -1s, but it's not until the end, so I don't level up, so I'm not quite big enough. I think I was at 12 with where Rogue stats were, because I think she's a printed 5. I had 3+1 counters, Match is 4. So Adam Warlock's a 13, and I just couldn't quite get there. But it does cause Rogue
to
level up.
Now you can get there.
But it's too late, you know what I mean?
Because combat is already over.
And I think that right there, that was the turn where I needed, if I had one more attack there, this game goes a different way. Or if I had leveled up one sooner.
I think that's Domino because you're rolling a die.
Yeah. Oh, and then Domino misses, of course. Because my Dominoes always miss. It's so frustrating. Everybody else plays that card, and they're like killing things and dodging attacks, and my Domino is just like stubs her toe on the attack and then dies every time.
Didn't the person who made Domino, wasn't that good at making feet?
Are you talking about Rob Liefeld?
So you're stubbing your not very good made foot. And falling.
I don't remember if that guy created... or was it Sam Keith who couldn't draw feet? No, it was Rob Liefeld. Sam Keith draws huge feet. That's what we're getting way off track here.
Let's go back to the game.
All right, so it's back to John's turn. Most of my back row still can't do anything because on my turn, John's board was face down, and now he gets a Jungle Hunter. So this is panic mode for me.
That means that there's a chance that he plays Dark Phoenix this next turn.
Yeah, he's getting up there. I think starting on this turn, I start choosing to not place resources because my only big card in the deck is Silver Surfer, and I can't play him.
Yeah.
So there's just no point in it.
I mean, can't they at least get rid of it like the cube? I mean, if you can't play it, what's the point of having it? It's just a waste of space inside your hand.
I mean, it's a resource, though.
Yeah.
So John gets a Predatorship with his Jungle Hunter, which is the one that gives him Invade but not Stealth. So he's not going to be able to come into my back row and cause any trouble. But he is going to be able to do some damage to the front row.
I mean, he can obviously hit Match. If anybody has at least one attack, then he can hit Match.
Yeah, that's his move, really. Because I don't think at this point 9 attack on Jungle Hunter isn't going to get through to Rogue.
Are her base stats 8/8?
Yeah, and then her God Strength triggers, and then I think I still have the 3+1 counters at this point. Yeah, I haven't taken a wound yet. Draw for turn. Now this is another one of those situations where I want to be able to play Floki and stuff, but my opponent has printed stats bigger than Floki, so I can't have her stick around for a while, or I just end up giving her to him.
What's her power?
She's a 7/6, and if there's a character at the start of my main phase or build phase, it's early in my turn. If there's a character on the opposing side with higher attack, she bails and joins their side.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But
she lets you draw 3 cards every time you power up, which is really, really strong.
Isn't that also kind of like...
Oh no, I have text messages on this video? That's terrible.
Isn't that also like... what's their name? Hammer Dagger? The hammer one? Wouldn't she fail if they have an X-Men on their side?
Yeah, kind of similar. Yeah.
And it's also like Death's ability that lets you draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
She kind of has like 2 abilities from 2 different characters.
So I really don't have good things to do here, unfortunately. So I'm trying to contemplate which boomerang I want to throw. Let's not do that, okay?
What?
That straw noise is really loud, right next to a microphone. So I'm trying to contemplate which boomerangs to throw. And I think I ultimately just throw a couple -1 counters out because there's no real value in getting rid of anything. Like his keywords. I already used the strike back one. None of my back row guys are really big enough to deal with his guys.
Except if Domino attacks. But then they'll probably fail.
Well, and I do attack with Domino, but I'm pretty sure I just lose the flip again.
Like always.
Yeah. Yeah, so here I'm throwing the boomerang that puts -1s. And it's like, is he going to play Dark Phoenix? Like, that's what this comes down to.
I mean, if you're setting up for it. I mean, even if you aren't, even if you don't have it in your hand, but if you can play Jungle Hunter, you probably should, because you might draw Dark Phoenix, and then you get to play it. So, yeah. But it does say that he might have a Dark Phoenix in hand, and he might be able to play a turn earlier.
So, I think I had to power up to get the stun there. And then I attempt to use Domino to do something.
And then she fails.
I think into Jungle Hunter maybe? Or no, okay. So I went for the Beyonder to clean him up. Like, I mean, what do you do there? Do you kill the little guy off? Do you try to put a wound on somebody else? If I fail the coin flip on either She-Thing or Jungle Hunter, that's not great. So, I don't know. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's an okay play. I would probably still go for the big guys because they're a bigger threat. But then again, it's better to have a guaranteed kill rather than have a maybe you fail, maybe you get him.
And actually, She-Thing with that -1, does that make her small enough that Domino can hit her?
Isn't she a 5/5?
I thought she was an 8/6. So with the -1, she becomes a 7. So this is where things start to get kind of bad for me. So Nimrod comes down, and he gets to just straight up punch something for 9 attack. So Domino just dies. No more Domino.
Goodbye.
Now that's better than Dark Phoenix coming down, for sure.
That's her. Yeah, that's definitely.
But then Nimrod attacks for 18, so Rogue loses all her counters and takes a wound, and now my back row is just...
not in a good place.
Yeah, John tries to go into Boomerang, and I'm like, you have to hit Herbie first, punk.
Don't try to cheat. Don't try to cheat, man.
No, I didn't say it like that at all.
I'm joking around.
So yeah, it's just cleanup. Like his row just makes mincemeat of my board.
If you were playing Death, that would have been a good thing.
Yeah, or if I could have played Silver Surfer right here, that would have been pretty awesome. You know, I mean, had I continued to play Resources, maybe I could have. Yeah. And I'm still not out of it at this point.
I mean, he hasn't played Dark Phoenix. The second he plays Dark Phoenix, it's probably game. It's just over.
So there's my favorite card, Loki. The Cosmo doesn't really do anything here.
Let me guess, he steals it.
The reason I played Cosmo is because I have another Cosmo in hand. And I want to be able to power up Cosmo and draw 3 cards off Loki before I suicide her into Jungle Hunter because I can't afford to give her to John. So, the only reason I played Cosmo
was to draw 3 cards.
It was just, yeah.
I made a Cosmo deck recently.
Yeah?
I almost beat your Chopper deck with it.
You would have, if you would have called the right power.
It's the first time I've ever played Cosmo. And it's super
So, here I throw a blue from hand and San Francisco to take away John's face-up location. Not super impactful, but if he does draw another Soul Gem, or I don't want him searching for the soul gem, rather, with Adam Warlock. So Floki and the Jungle Hunter, they trade. I'm pretty sure Adam Warlock has the soul gem. Whatever his gem is. Yeah, the mind gem's the one that lets you draw cards or discard cards. So, power up with Rogue to get big enough to put another wound on Adam Warlock, and then we can look here. There's 10 more minutes of this game, but it's about to be over.
Yep.
So watching this back over, I actually don't think I made a misplay, because I think the power-up that I was scolding myself for not using earlier.
And there's the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, and he calls keywords, and my hand is just, it's boomerangs, it's flokies, it's everything has keywords.
Hey, at least you can play the floki and not have to give it to him.
So the thing that I do have in my hand, though, is I have match and I have domino. So match, domino, rogue, team attack is still big enough to hit
Adam Warlock.
Dark Phoenix, to get into Adam Warlock. So I think, okay, what I got to do first is I got to get this Nimrod out of the way. So these next few turns is just basically me suiciding into Nimrod to clear him, and then my plan was going to be to play match domino, do a big team attack into Dark Phoenix, and then hopefully draw into one more ability to team attack into Dark Phoenix, and then fly over the top for that last wound, which I realize is just an absolute Hail Mary.
I mean, your only hope is if you can somehow draw all the power-ups that you can get to hit him, because right now your God Strength won't do nothing.
God Strength doesn't do anything.
Help you.
Cosmo doesn't do anything. Boomerang doesn't do anything.
Basically, your everything can't do anything.
All of my ways to do everything is just completely erased by keywords, which is why I knew this was a bad matchup.
That's also kind of like with my death deck, I was really worried about Dark Phoenix, but why I played death was because this is a scarce pile, and there's almost a 0% chance I'm going to run into Nullifier, Dark Phoenix.
Well, not 0.
Well, almost.
There's like a 30% chance that you're going to run into those cards, as opposed to a 100% chance.
Because everybody plays those cards usually.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody plays Dark Phoenix because she's super stupid.
Well, for this event, I gave myself permission to not build a deck, or to build a deck that is just buckled by Dark Phoenix. In Quarantine Cup 2, this rogue is actually kind of what I wanted to play, but I was like, I hate losing the game to Dark Phoenix. I don't want to do that, so I tried to build my X23 in a way that I could get to Dark Phoenix first and kind of... But it didn't work out against Mitch, and I lost to freaking Dark Phoenix again.
You failed.
Yeah.
Phoenix is stupid.
I really want that card banned. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I feel like it's either they ban it or they have to move the cost up to at least 10. No, not 10. I feel like they should move the cost up to at least 11.
I mean, the fact that Dark Phoenix is more powerful than Galactus, more powerful than the only 15 drop in the game, it's...
Plus, her stats are really good.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate that card.
It's just stupid.
So him having the next Nimrod here, this is where I was like, I knew for sure I was sunk. So I'd been hanging on to the domino and the match team attack in hand, and I was just like, what the hell? Let's go for it here. So I throw them down, and I try to start cleaning up his board and maybe trying to like chop through. But as soon as he had the Nimrod to follow up the Nimrod that I had to take 2 wounds onto Rogue to get through the first Nimrod, I knew there's no way I was getting out of this.
Yeah, it's over. It was kind of over before it even started.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And I mean, I've played decks that rely on Dark Phoenix just breaking the game in order to win. Like, if it's a legal card, it's fair game. You know, you can't, like, that's the playing field. It just,
she's more powerful
I hate it.
Dang it, I feel like
I misspoke. I said it was domino and match. If you look, it's actually dust and match.
Both have the D at the start of their name.
Same attack, you know.
Except you can't flip a coin.
So, at first when I threw them out here, I was like, oh, I can use them to try to clear this Nimrod. But Nimrod has range. So it's like, okay, well, he's just going to hit them back. That's no good. Okay, I guess I'll try to clear these other guys. But at this point, John's under no pressure, and his hand is just full. Like, everything he's drawing into is big playable guys. And it doesn't matter if they impact the board. All they have to do is slow me down. And that's exactly what happens here.
You know, I feel like Dark Phoenix is more powerful than Galactus. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's more powerful than a 30-30.
It's certainly more impactful on the game. You know, Galactus's power is really cool.
I mean, you can
there's so many decks that play Galactus that don't even care what he says because they know they're going to use Dark Phoenix to rip all his keywords off and just play a blank 30-30.
Plus, another thing is, so Dark Phoenix, if you wounded a main character enough times and then you call levels, they just straight up die. It's not even, once Dark Phoenix comes down, it's barely even the game anymore. It's just a straight up battlefield because what Dark Phoenix does is just ruin the game and make it impossible for the other person to win sometimes.
Well, and when it's Dark Phoenix against Dark Phoenix, it creates stalemates, which I think is the most unhealthy part of that card. Now, in this particular format, our teammate took all of our Dark Phoenixes, so I didn't have the ability to throw down my own Dark Phoenix and turn this into a staring contest.
Nobody's staring.
Which is largely what would have happened because Jon's not presenting characters. I mean, I guess his Adam Warlock would be big enough. No, Adam Warlock's not big enough to get over Dark Phoenix. So yeah, Jon's not really present. Now he does have Galactuses in his deck, I think. Or did Bert take all of them? Either way, I hate Dark Phoenix.
It's stupid. They need to be banned. Dark Phoenix needs to be banned. She can literally turn off the Infinity Gauntlet.
I have both won and lost with the card, and I'm sick of it. So I throw down Loki here just to try to do a little bit, but I know I'm sunk.
It's just game over. Yeah. You know, the second Dark Phoenix appears, it's not exactly that fun anymore.
Well, I knew it was a race. I had, in order for me to win, I had to kill him before Dark Phoenix showed up, and I didn't. So that sucks.
It's just game over, you know.
But I mean, you kind of had a similar thing with Bert. Like he was in a serious race to find his answers to death to get that out.
He found them, and then I made a major misplay.
And Joe's match against Rob was really the same way. Like Rob had one win condition, and if Joe could turn it off, he wins. And if he couldn't, he lost, and he happened to get there. So, I mean, fair play. You know, Joe won essentially with the same kind of.
Hey, at least we didn't get sweeped. At least we didn't get sweeped.
So, it just goes to show in versus you can't build a deck that's strong against everything.
It's generally impossible. You can't build a deck that's strong against everything. Yeah, it's just not possible.
Look at this board.
You don't have enough cards that are allowed to go into one deck to have an answer for everything. And even if you did have enough cards to put in one deck to have an answer for everything, what are the chances that you're going to draw each individual one when you need it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that is the other thing. So this board is completely overwhelming. Like with Gilgamesh and Rogue, we end up with these other flyers. I mean, if it wasn't, I'm done. I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah, I mean, game over. Second Dark Phoenix appeared. It was no game.
Well, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So you say...
We all make losses. We all make mistakes. Even though this wasn't exactly a mistake inside the game. It was just Dark
you still
Phoenix.
you still say, hey, good game. Congratulations. Good luck going forward. You know, that kind of stuff. So.
Even if you lose by mistake, that doesn't take anything away from the other person.
You got any other thoughts here before we hit end?
No.
What do we say?
Go on some games, yeah.